Hey Flower Fam, good to see you guys again. I know it's been about a month or so since the last video, but you know, we're getting back on track here. We had kind of a busy time with a lot of the application work, a lot of the physical card stuff, a lot of the harvesting and crafting stuff, bug fixes, doing some promotions that we're still yet to announce. So it just kind of got a little bit too busy, and the video was adding a little bit too much extra as well. So, but I'm happy to get back on track with it now because the transparency really is important. Yeah, great. Well, anyway, so I'm broadcasting here from my slightly revamped backyard development studio. Here you guys can check out the surroundings. Yeah, and I'll explain a little bit of what went into kind of cleaning the space up and showing the lifestyle aspect of just me trying to run this, you know, company and survive. Yeah, and then I want to show a little bit of the work that we've done over the time that I haven't been broadcasting in terms of, yeah, the Dapper integration work, the physical cards, and a little bit of what's to come with harvesting, crafting, and the game stuff. All right, exciting. Let's get started. All right, so for sure this has to go because we have to move the tent back up against the wall. And yeah, I guess move it around by wind sometimes. And these guys are clearly just, yeah, growing inside here in like every possible nook and cranny. So yeah, unfortunately, this bamboo's got to go, as well as like little row of bamboo that's managed to grow this way. Yeah, it needs to be tamed in. That's kind of the thing about gardens, is like, it's nice to have natural beauty. It's nice for them to like grow lush on their own accord. But if you don't slightly control it, then, you know, some particular plant will just kind of overwhelm it all. Balance. Knowing bamboo, this is all definitely going to grow back in. Decide what I'm gonna do with all these palm trees. I might take the fronds off and like put them onto the roof of this thing. Oh yeah, it's the moon. Yeah, it might be a cool little tropical effect. All right, good. It's a good start. Yeah, that guy probably needs to go too. He's probably digging into the foundation of the building. Oh, and then we got some of this like older stuff, like this poor dead sad succulent. Yeah, it's okay. Get all this cleared out. All right, our waste pile is growing. Managed to clear out most of the bamboo here along this edge. Oh man, this is a bamboo going straight through the netting. Oh, crazy. That's the workout. Whew. All right, that's trash at this point. Also, this is just getting a little ridiculous. I think it's time. I mean, this whole thing is pretty ugly overall, but with a plant, it's okay. Oh yeah, so here it is. It's coming along. Got most of this debugged, as it were. Yeah, over here is still kind of a little bit awkward. But first, let's deal with the inside here. That's pretty close, honestly, but just a few tweaks. So let's see. Mostly finished opening this up. It's definitely some This pile that's forming here. It's really quite a lot of yard waste. It's okay though. We'll deal with it. Look at these guys. All right. This area is coming along nicely. Yep, got rid of a bunch of the grass. Yeah, the the rat is still over there. But yeah, let's get the interior done. So this is what the inside looks like now, and what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna like finish cleaning this up, and then I'll probably take a break there and do some work on Flower Patch. Yeah, get some stuff wrapped up for the card generator. Get started to get more serious about the gameplay updates. All right, hell yeah. So here's how it looks. I'm just gonna like sweep up, move all these things around. All right, here we go. Real quick, here's the finish of day one. So I've kind of cleared this out a little bit, cleared out some of that. Here's the inside. Oh yeah. So let's talk about Dapper real quick. One of the interesting things right now, obviously in the quickly developing crypto and Ethereum world, is that things like wallets are still sort of beta, sort of still iterating. People are trying different experiments with them. One of the features that people requested for a long time, of course, was Dapper support, because Dapper includes the really nice, free transactions, and in general, it's very cool technology, being kind of like recoverable, but it's just like smart wallet-based contract. Sorry, smart contract-based wallet. But that is kind of where a lot of the issues happen. So to briefly kind of like, I guess, discuss this topic. There's Ethereum accounts, right? And Ethereum accounts, they have a private key and a public key. They have an address that is derived from that as well. But smart contracts, which are programs running on the Ethereum blockchain, they don't actually have a private key. Because like, where would you put this private key? It's all like on the blockchain, so if it was there, people would be able to see it. As a result, the Dapper wallet does not have a private key per se. So for example, like you might ask, if you're kind of familiar with cryptography, like how can you even sign a message? So like here I am, like I'm logged in with Dapper currently in Flower Patch. Everything's working great. And I wanted to unlock my account. How could I sign a message using a smart contract to do that without a private key? Like how could this possibly work? The answer is pretty interesting. They came up with a new standard, which pretty much, yeah, like gets around this using some custom libraries. They keep a list sort of manually, and yeah, of like valid signatures. So this is one of the things that I've had to do here is like, in addition to the normal signing, like verification method where you like, you know, basically check whether the signature matches the message that you were given. Yeah, they have this alternate thing using their DAP auth authenticator, and you basically use the signature and the message, and you just send it in there, and it'll tell you if it's valid or not, instead of actually doing the cryptography yourself. And this is, yeah, a standard that they call EIP 1654. Yeah, so this is the full explanation. Wallet authentication process with contract wallet support. Off-chain process for dApps to assert whether an entity has authorized control, informally ownership over public Ethereum address using ETH sign. Supports both external wallets and contract wallets. Anyway, so there's some more info about that if you're curious. But so that's one of the things that we had to do. Similarly, it's also kind of interesting. What happens when you make a transaction with Dapper? So, you know, I have this like address, right? It doesn't like, it doesn't send the transaction itself. What it does is it signs a sort of intent to make a transaction, and then somebody else, like a worker account, fulfills it. So a lot of the time, like if I was to breed using Flower Patch, and I have done this a number of times here. Yeah, you make a transaction, but then it sort of goes off to a worker pool. There's some like actual real addresses that need to like make the transaction. So as a result, there ended up being some differences in how these like chains of calls happen. So like previously it was that there was a user account and you'd send that directly to our like breed fee splitter, and that would take some of the money and send it to the breeder, take some money, send it to our market. The market would then respond and say like, hey, there was a breeding event, and then that would go through. But now in this world, there's like an extra step. There's like this user account, which works through our contract, the smart wallet contract, which then calls the breed fee, which then calls the market. So there's like a chain of 4 steps in the smart contract world. So all this was, yeah, substantially quite a bit of work. Ended up being, I would say, 3 or 4 weeks in cumulative like research and development. But again, I'm happy to say that everything works great. And at this point, yeah, you can get into the game and do everything exactly the same as you would expect it to work with MetaMask, which definitely is fantastic for me to see. Yeah, here's our flowers. Find one of these guys. Yeah, everything's working fantastically. So that's in rough the Dapper stuff. I might write a longer blog post or do a long video about what exactly went into all that. There's definitely quite a bit of like little nuances and sort of tips and tricks that I have for other people who may be interested in developing Dapper support. But I wanted to switch over and talk about the physical cards and rendering stuff. So what's been really nice is that we've met a really lovely couple over in Santa Cruz. So here's yeah, this is from our meeting before. They're in the bottom left. They have wineries. They have, you know, weed. They're award-winning packaging designers, eco-friendly packaging designers for cannabis brands and other things like that. So in this photo here on the top left, we have Joshua, who's leading our kind of like merchandising department. We have John Lustig, Kryptonite Coins, on the top right, who's in charge of our partnerships and cannabis stuff. We have Night Trek on the bottom right, rocking the mask and the Apple gear. And he's, you know, a developer, sort of does a lot of stuff with us as well. Marketing, promotion, and then yeah, the packaging company Green on the bottom left. So it's been really nice working with them, and we're close to launching our first set of cards. Oh, sorry. So one of the things that I just put up on the website. Let's go to, for example, card 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. So yeah, here's a simple jack, and I've added this new section here. This we had before, this flower part. Not too new, you can just have the nug by itself. This is how we do things on like OpenSea. But now there's a new API where if you click on card, it says flower patch render card 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. And this is actually at 300 DPI, so this is at print quality, meant to be actually printed on physical cards ultimately. And I wanted to go into the what went into building this thing, because honestly it's pretty cool. All of this is dynamically generated. This card doesn't exist like somewhere pre-rendered. As the call comes in, like as you access this URL, card 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, like the server receives the URL you're trying to access, it creates the card in the fly in memory using Go, and then returns you the image completed. So yeah, let's have some fun. Let's go through kind of what it took to create this service, or at least see the fun milestones along the way. So here's my test files, and honestly I'm just gonna like sprint through this for I think partially my own entertainment, but this is like the process of me working on it over time. So we started off kind of like being able to load the nug into the frame with the pictures and stuff. This is all kind of compiled together, like images being layered, and you can see there's like a little bit of a gap underneath the lava. Quite a lot of iterations. It took a long time to get text figured out, like how to render text onto the screen in a nice way. I basically had to remake these cards from scratch, right, like in Go, because previously they were just being rendered in web, and we wanted kind of a very robust, non-web-based service to do this. So you can kind of see, like, I'm making progress. Here the particles are cut off. You can see at the top there, they don't go all the way up. Starting to get some of this title stuff together. Oh, now the nug's mispositioned. The particles are still cut off. You can see underneath the juice. Ultimately I had to make our nug be able to render at twice the size that they previously did. So actually I guess this this is the new one. If you look at what do we have previously, which card did I open here? 1407. Yeah, this one is still at the normal size. So this one has not been scaled up. We actually needed this to be twice as big, this image, so that we can print it at 300 DPI. But this is not it. So this is still like just me kind of messing around. And then we kind of like it took a while to get the math right, being able to like scale up all the images and the positioning of them. Because like all of our flowers are based on a skeleton, right? There's like these invisible bones that are keeping together all leaves and whatever. That's what's making the animations possible. Oh yeah, here's the halo effect from the Archangel that nobody's been using. And I ended up a lot of this like weird cool art where the algorithm wasn't quite right and just sort of scattered things around, but in kind of an abstract sort of way. Then eventually, we started being able to render them quite bigger. You can see this is already if you look at this at actual size, you can see these nugs are really, really quite large. This is sharp, high resolution stuff. Oh yeah, and then we ended up just tons of iterations. I'll skip through a whole bunch of this, but you can see I'm starting to get the rendering correct. The particles and stuff are filling the whole screen. I'm starting to put this together. The particles now are filling the whole area. Then at some point here, I decided to take a break and switch into generating QR codes. So at first I figured out I got a Go-based library for making QR codes, and I started putting together the card back, which like combines this QR code with basically a static image, a little label at the bottom. You can see we're playing around with like the titles. Each of these has a different QR code. These are all like fake links, but so yeah, it took a few iterations on that. Took a long time to get the text rendering correct because we have these like cool little outlines around the text, and it turns out the outlines are quite tricky to do for some reason in the libraries that I was using. Go has pretty primitive image manipulation, so it's not surprising. But yeah, so here's Father's blue balls with like the outline completely in the wrong place. So yeah, here it's like almost in the right place. I'm like, oh man, okay, no, I need to move this number over here. And finally it kind of like snapped together. It's like, yeah, simple jack with an outline. Yeah, and then finally I was managing to customize them, get the sizing and positioning correct, I had to recreate the legendary and like other labels as bigger images, and then could paste them in as well. So here's epic and rare. And then you can see here the text is too wide. It needs to be rescaled to fit into the area. So eventually here I implemented the algorithm to automatically rescale it, so you can see now it like fits correctly. Resizes down to a nice font size. Yeah, so you can see the outlines are changing color now based on the branding. Like the outlines of the titles are different colors based on the land type. See, this one's like orange outline, this one has more of a dark green. Okay, now I've started playing around with the bottom words. The placement of the words is also a little bit tricky because it tries to like left center blazing, right center indica, and middle center lush. But if the word blazing ends up being too long, then it needs to push the word lush over a little bit. And that's kind of like an aspect of our branding decisions. So eventually I ended up playing around with that. Yeah, so here's just like some long words. You can see it doesn't like quite push the words as well as it could. Here, now there's 3 separate words. You can see it scales them and more or less appropriately positions them. This is even better now with the correct colors. And you can see, yeah, kind of in action. Everything's looking nice with these 3 words at the bottom. So that's pretty close to the completed version. I had to also add the watermark because now we have, you know, our branded sets which have a logo watermark on the front. And those guys, for example, look like this. You know, the Dick's Revenge for the Delta set has this nice little overlay icon built into it. So I added some support for that. We have some config files that we read, and you know. But yeah, so here it is. So finally, it all came together, and then yeah, we have the API on the web, so people can actually use these and get nice full renders of their cards. And then we have these QR codes ready to go. So the final step was to add what's called bleed margins. When you're printing something, you want some like extra space around your card to make sure that it's, yeah, like in case the printer doesn't quite do something right, or if the cut is not quite in the right place, then you have the bleed margin to make sure that it still looks good. This is kind of like a normal card, and then this is the one with the bleed attached to it. And similarly, here's like a Panama red with the bleed margin compared to Stinky Linky, which doesn't have it. So all this is pretty cool, and yeah, this video is already definitely getting quite long, but I can go into more detail about how those like image renderers are done. In short, it's nothing too magic. I basically have all the parts as separate images, and then I combine them, and I draw text, and I kind of recolor stuff. I create the nugs on the fly, scale them depending on the size that you want, whether you want the nugs to be really big or small. Yeah, and then put together the card and serve it over a web API. Pretty cool stuff. Maybe I can do a tutorial at that point, but yeah, all right, well, I'll leave it there for now. Hopefully we'll get the videos back on track in a reasonable manner. We've got a bunch of stuff with harvesting and crafting coming on. We've been working a little bit behind the scenes. As you may also know, we have like new art, new music, some new assets, decoration for the world, as well as the features that are coming up. So we're excited to get that out and then get some more promotion rolling, and also get the physical cards over in the dispensaries. Hopefully get some new folk coming in checking out our product. All right, guys. Have a great day. I know it's a really stressful time out there right now. Hopefully Flower Patch can continue to be a little bit of, you know, happiness and fun. in a sometimes bleak world. And yeah, hopefully everybody stays safe. Hopefully, people's rights are respected, and we'll be here making a cool game. All right, all the best.